When I watched She-Hulk, I thought, all right, this is the lowest Marvel can possibly go. Oh man, I was wrong. Ironheart feels like someone at Disney took every single bad idea from every failing MCU show and mashed them into one steaming mess. This isn't a misstep, it's an abomination. From the moment I saw the promo images, I knew it wasn't going to be good. But I didn't expect it to be this bad. I've only seen the 3 episodes, and already it's clear. There's no real story, no direction, no motivation behind anything. All it says is, here's the new Iron Man, and she's better. That's it. Other Marvel shows, even the ones we complain about, usually have at least a thin excuse for why they exist. Some shaky logic, some setup for the next big crossover. Ironheart doesn't even bother with that. All it seems to care about is telling you that this character is a black woman, and that makes her inherently superior to every other hero that came before. And you're supposed to accept that. No questions asked. The blame? It's on the writers and the actors. No one here was trying to build a good story. They had other ideas to push, and they shoved all of them into this show without considering whether any of it worked. And the lead actress. Completely flat. No presence, no emotional weight. Watching her is like staring at a cardboard cutout trying to cosplay a superhero. When the original Iron Man dropped, nobody, including me as a kid who barely knew what Marvel was, expected it to change everything. But the storytelling and performance pulled people in. That film sparked an entire universe. I'm not asking for Ironheart to do the same, but it should at least try to respect what came before. Instead, it spits on the legacy and expects applause. This clip from Nerdrodic sums up this show.
Dominic Thorne is back as brilliant engineer Riri. Is that right? Riri Williams.
How do you think Ironheart will shift the narrative for the coming generations?
Yikes. I love that lyric. Looks like us, you know what I mean? Long nails, long hair, popping out here.
After starting on a Marvel show, where do I go from here?
It's directed by 2 black women.
Black Girl Magic!
I think we have a very special message. I think you've got to recognize who this is.
For 400 years, that word has kept us down. Took a whole lot of time just to get up that hill. Now we up in the big leagues. Getting out turning back.
How does that make you feel like one of the original Avengers saying that?
I love Iron Man too. Get on the bandwagon. It's here. We're here. Tony's on the bandwagon, so what's the problem?
Exactly.
RDJ is here.
Right.
It's nice here. Good morning.
You went full retard, man. An imbecile. Like the dumbest motherfucker that ever lived. Just farting in bathtubs and laughing your ass off.
Man.
It's high science, man. It's art form. You an artist.
Oh my God, thank you.
Before we dive in, if you're tired of what the MCU's turning into, and you want more honest reviews like this, hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more deep dives every week. Let's get into it. After watching the first few episodes, it's clear that Ironheart is not only a disappointment, it's one of the most misguided and poorly executed projects in the MCU's history. The series follows Riri Williams, a supposedly brilliant MIT student introduced through Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Her goal is to become a major innovator like Tony Stark. In theory, this sounds promising. but the execution of her story undermines the character at every step. Riri is introduced participating in academic fraud, helping others cheat for money. And we're meant to overlook this as a rebellious streak rather than a serious ethical failure. She's portrayed as a young genius, but the writing doesn't show her solving complex problems or growing through struggle. It shows her getting expelled and stealing a fully built Iron Man suit that was constructed with university funding. This is framed as defiance, but the show avoids addressing the consequences in a meaningful way. The story treats it like an inconvenience rather than a pivotal character moment. Ironheart tries to position Riri as a successor to Tony Stark, but the foundation is shaky. Stark's arc was built on humility, growth, and accountability. Riri's is built on entitlement and self-importance. She doesn't engineer her legacy. She copies it. The Iron Man suit, the AI assistant, the workshop full of gadgets. These are all familiar pieces, recycled without context or thoughtful reinvention. When she claims that Tony Stark only succeeded because of his money, it ignores the narrative of how he became Iron Man through sheer survival, intelligence, and accountability. Riri's perspective lacks reflection. She believes that resources and recognition should come to her based on potential, without proving her ability to handle either. The show surrounds Riri with a crew led by a man named Parker and a group of criminals that seem built from surface-level diversity checklists instead of compelling character traits. The gang is led by the Hood, a villain with supernatural elements. But there's no tension or intimidation in his presence. The rest of the crew is written with exaggerated quirks and hollow motivations. Rather than challenging Riri or shaping her growth, these characters serve to enable her descent into crime, treating it like a shortcut to validation. Their dynamic lacks depth, and the show relies on archetypes that feel more like parody than meaningful representation. The writing throughout Ironheart struggles to find clarity. The tone shifts between gritty and juvenile. The AI, modelled after her dead friend Natalie, is more irritating than helpful, with dialogue that seems lifted from social media trends, rather than serving a narrative function. Riri's actions don't align with her claims. She talks about changing the world, yet her decisions are centered on gaining status and personal recognition. Her intelligence is described often, but rarely demonstrated. Scenes intended to show her as a technological prodigy are filled with shortcuts. From cloning her brain with ease to repairing high-tech equipment using methods that feel like guesswork. Ironheart isn't subtle about what it wants to say. The show is packed with messages about race, identity, and societal inequality. From Black Lives Matter posters to murals of fallen community members. From monologues about struggle to the repeated assertion that Riri is meant to represent something bigger than herself. It's all there. But here's the thing. Representation doesn't work when it's hollow. These moments don't feel earned. They don't grow naturally out of the story or the character's arc. They feel like surface-level decoration, as if someone in the writer's room thought, if we show enough cultural symbolism, people will feel something, without actually giving the audience a reason to care. It's not that these themes shouldn't exist. Far from it. A character like Riri Williams should be a fantastic opportunity to explore what it means to be young, brilliant, and burdened by expectation in a post-Tony Stark world. But the show never digs into any of that. It skips the work and goes straight to the lecture. Riri doesn't struggle to earn trust. She demands it. She isn't challenged to reconcile her values with her choices. The show lets her do whatever she wants. Cheat, steal, lie, break laws, and still tries to sell her as the voice of a generation. But empowerment isn't about repeating slogans or ticking demographic boxes. It's about depth, vulnerability, growth, identity in storytelling. Works when we feel it through the character's journey. Ironheart treats identity like a shortcut to depth. It's not. It's the starting point, not the destination. Ironheart had the potential to be something truly refreshing. A grounded, inventive, coming-of-age story in the Marvel Universe. One that explored legacy, pressure, genius, and responsibility in a way we haven't seen before. But that version of Ironheart doesn't exist. What we got instead is a disconnected, emotionally flat series that mimics the MCU's worst habits while abandoning everything that once made its stories work. Riri is written with a level of arrogance that the show never questions. She constantly chooses the easy way out, takes what isn't hers, and refuses to be held accountable. And the narrative supports her every time. She doesn't grow into a hero. She is declared one. And that undermines everything. Marvel used to understand that great characters are built, not handed to us. And if Ironheart is the model for what Marvel thinks the future looks like, then they're heading down a path where meaning is replaced with messaging. And audiences are expected to clap for something they no longer believe in. Let me know what your thoughts are. Did Ironheart meet your expectations? Or did it leave you wondering why? Leave a comment. Hit like if you think Marvel needs to take a serious creative reset. And subscribe for more unfiltered takes. See you in the next one.